Welcome back. You're watching bnsn on ET Now, show where we get to answers for all of your stock-related queries. Remember, viewers, you can connect to us on the number that's flashing on your screen. To remember, each time you write to us, mention your name, the stock that you're looking to invest in, mention that name as well, and along with buy price, the quantity, and the time horizon. In that way, we will be able to help you better. And talking about experts in today's today's show, we have Osho Krishnan, who will be joining us on the technicals in a short while from now, and also we have Sharmila Joshi, who's joining us on the fundamentals. A very good morning to you, Sharmila. We are counting down to the big event, that's Union Budget, which now this time is falling on a Saturday, and it is a trading day as well. But let me take the queries that are pouring in, and off late, Sharmila, it's amazing because we've got a lot of queries that have come in from our viewers for the longer term. So now we have this query coming in from Nikhil, who has 72 shares of ITC Hotels, which he got on back of the demerger entity. So 178.6 is the buy price. He wants to know what will be an advantage of keeping this stock in his portfolio, given the fact that we've seen a lot of thrust in hospitality, wedding season, concerts. So he wants to understand the fundamentals and how is this one a better place when you compare it to the other major hospitality players.
Well, I think simply put, what we're really witnessing is that there has been a great demand for and great pickup in travel. So earlier, if you spoke of travel, you would want to see how many foreign tourists are coming in, etc. But I think more than foreign tourists now, the way domestic travel has picked up has been quite significant, one would say, in the last couple of years, and we are seeing it when we travel, whether it is by train, whether it is by air, everything is crowded, and so are hotel rooms at almost across every price point. To add to that, I think that ITC has a fairly good, the kind of properties that they have and where they are located in the cities as well as in the smaller cities. So their portfolio of hotels is very good, and they will only add to that. So the point being that you are in a sector which is doesn't show any signs of slowing down. If anything, I think more and more Indians are beginning to travel, and which is a great thing for hospitality as a sector. Also, I think what one must bear in mind is that ITC hotels, the delisting has happened at a time when the overall market mood has been a little spoiled. So it's not gotten the kind of response it normally would have. So if you're a longer term investor, I think there should be very little concern because you obviously have ITC shares and you've gotten this in a demerger. So just stay put because, as I said, I think that hospitality as a sector has a long way to go. And secondly, I think the kind of hotels that they have their portfolio is very good. And as a disclosure, I hold ITC as well as ITC hotels.
Long way to go for the sector. That's the take coming in from Sharmila as well. We also have Osho Krishnan, who's the senior analyst, technical and derivative research at Angel One, also joining in. First of all, good morning to the both of you. Osho, I wanted to take the next query actually coming in for you. Then Gautam is writing to us about AB Capital. Wants to know if it's a good idea for a fresh buy. What do you think?
Very good morning to all of you. Well, looking at the overall perspective in the NBFC space or the financial space, I'm expecting that from here onwards, there is a potential for the whole space to have a kind of a reversal in the technical patterns. Coming specifically to AB Capitals, then this counter have seen a decent correction from the zone of 240 and is now hovering towards the crucial resistance of 165 to 170 odd levels. So this has historically seen as a very strong support zone. And from here onwards also, I'm expecting that there can be a strong pullback that can be seen in this counter. So one can definitely try to accumulate this counter at current levels. Nearly 160 should be kept as a stop loss, while on the higher end, 200, 210 is the immediate target in the short-term time frame.
This one is coming from Bharadwaj. He's writing to us from Coimbatore, and he wants to know about Nocil actually, Sharmila. Does it make sense to buy this at current market price for a period of about 2 to 5 years holding?
I think for 2 to 5 years, definitely you can look to buy. My only since we are just a couple of days away from the budget, let's wait for the budget. But if you're looking for a 2 to 5 year horizon, it's a good stock and it's at a reasonable valuation. So yes, I think you could look to buy it with, and my target would be closer to say about 340.
Recommendation coming in for Nocil. Osho, the next one is coming in for you. Professor GT Rao is writing to us from Visakhapatnam, wants to know about IGL. 100 shares is what he's holding on to currently, but he wants to know if for the medium term he should actually be going ahead and increasing his allotment to IGL then.
See, overall, there has been no positive movement in this counter from a very long period, currently hovering near the short-term moving averages. So one should wait for some kind of momentum coming back in this counter, which can be seen above the zone of 430 on the technical levels. So once it crosses the zone of 430, 440 odd levels, then one can definitely try to accumulate the counter at higher levels. But at current levels, I would rather say stay sidelines from this counter for the time being.
All right. Let me take this next query then, and the next query is coming in from. 1 second, I kind of scroll down. Okay, this one is coming in from Vijay, and Vijay wants to know if it's okay to invest about $1 lakh each in Dr. Reddy's and Hero Moto Corp at current levels, or should he wait for some more downside for buying it afresh? What's your take on this one, Osha? And also, good morning.
A very good morning. Well, both the counters have seen a very decent correction. Firstly, Dr. Reddy, if I have to plot the technical chart, then this has seen a breakout from the zone of nearly 1120, 1150 odd levels, and it is currently hovering at 1200. So I would rather say to wait for some kind of consolidation, either at these levels or further correction towards 1150. That will be an apt zone to accumulate Dr. Reddy. For Hero Moto, one can definitely start accumulating at current levels. There has been a drastic correction from the zone of 6200 towards 4100 levels, and I am expecting that looking at the technical front, there is a kind of rounding bottom formation on the technical parameters. So in the coming period, one can definitely expect a decent move in Hero Moto. So Hero Moto, one can definitely start accumulating at current levels. For Dr. Reddy, wait for some times either to get it consolidated at the same price or further correction of nearly 50 to 40 odd points.
Alright, then that's a take coming in as far as Hero Moto then is concerned. Sharmila, I'll come right back to you because the next one is actually coming in from Vidya, writing to us from Chennai. She's a short-term trader, wants to know about a couple of counters actually. Titagarh and RVNL are the ones that she's looking at, and she wants to know if it's the right time to enter at this point. What do you think?
So very honestly, since it's a short-term sort of a trader, I don't really know what to say. Out of the two, I think RVNL looks okay, but the valuations are a little expensive. So I would ideally wait on both.
All right, so that's the take on some of those railway-related counters. But on that note, we slip into a break at this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, continue taking your queries. Don't go anywhere.
Much for staying tuned in. Let's continue taking all of your stock related queries, and Osho, the next one that we actually have is coming in from Rohan, writing to us from Bengaluru, wants to know about BSE. Now he's holding on to 100 shares, buy price is 5,500, and do note that he's invested for the long term. He wants to know if he can buy more at this point then.
See, overall, the technical structure for BSE is obviously positive. It is in the cycle of higher highs, higher lows. But once the price buying range is already in the very near about 5,500, so I would rather say wait for some further correction in this counter. If it happens, then try accumulating it around the zone of 48 to 4,900 odd levels. If not, if it continues on the higher trend, then better to wait for a further movement, and beyond 6,000, one can try to average out the counter. Currently, one should not be very much keen in buying around the same levels where one person has bought the position.
That's a take coming in as far as BSE is concerned. But the next one, Sharmila, that we have is actually coming in from Swati, writing to us for a 3-year time frame. Now she's already invested in Canara Bank, holding on to 1,400 shares. Buy price was 84 rupees. About 2 years back is when she purchased these. Now she wants to know if she should sell these holdings and at this point invest in Bank of Maharashtra, SE, or for that matter PFC as well.
Well, I think that it would be a wrong idea to sell Canara Bank at this level because the valuations are very decent. And if you ask me, in comparison to Bank of Maharashtra, I would rather and always, I think, recommend Canara Bank, especially if you're looking at a longer term in sort of a horizon, because this is a bigger bank, and I think even in terms of their balance sheet, etc., things are better. Of course, I think Bank of Maharashtra has also improved significantly over the last couple of years, but I still think if you were to, since you already hold the shares, I don't think that it makes much sense to really sell this and get into Bank of Maharashtra. So I think just stay put with Canara Bank and be a little patient. I think the valuations at this point in time are in favor of holding Canara Bank.
And the next one that we have, Osho, is coming in from Naga Kumar, writing to us from Hyderabad. He's a senior citizen, wants to invest a lump sum of 5 lakh rupees in 3 to 4 large caps for the longer term. Now he's expecting reasonable returns, and he's asking, with that in mind, based on what you think about as reasonable, just tell us what you think in terms of the 3 to 4 large cap names that he's asking for.
See, overall, from an investment point of view in the large cap companies, firstly, Reliance will be the favorite pick of every analyst in these market conditions where it has seen a very strong correction from the zone of 1600 towards 1250, which is a very strong monthly support for this counter. So I'm expecting one should definitely invest in Reliance at current levels. The second one will be HDFC Bank. From the banking space, this counter have seen a decent move, and it is anticipated to have a very strong movement in the coming period. So definitely one should try to accumulate HDFC Bank. The third one, I would be rather picking from the IT space. From IT, two counters are looking positive to me. One is TCS and Infosys. So either of them, or one can even diversify 50-50 in both the counters. From banking space, another is SBI is also looking very positive to me. And from auto sector, I guess Hero Moto can be a pick at current levels.
Right. The next one is actually coming in from our viewer, that is Devendra Gaikwad from Gujarat. He wants to know about BEL. He has about 250 shares of BEL, Sharmila, at a price of around 308 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should hold or look to exit because he is at a loss at this point in time. Wants to know what's the future of BEL in the long run, and also will budget help recover the stock prices?
So I think there could be hope from the budget, because I think typically, a couple of budget that in the past we have seen that there have been some announcements that have sort of were in favor of sort of defense or make in India, that those kind of initiatives. I think the only thing that has gone wrong for the investor is that he has entered the stock at a very high price, and perhaps at a time when all these PSU stocks were in a tearaway hurry. There is BL is a great stock if you're looking at the longer term. It is just that the orders that these companies have are very long gestation orders, and for that to reflect in their profit in the profit of the company, it takes a while. But market was willing to overlook all that and give it very fancy valuations because that was the flavor of the market then. So your waiting period could be more. But that said, as I said, BL is a great stock, and you could let's keep our fingers crossed that the budget makes some good announcements within that space, and you recover, you see your buying price back. But my overall advice would be to just have faith and keep holding your stock.
Then that's a take coming in. As far as BEL then is concerned, Osho, the next one that we have is actually coming in for a fresh buy recommendation for Hindustan Oil exploration. We have Manoj from Goa, whose time frame is 3 to 6 months. So with that in mind, what do you think about this one then?
Counter for a shorter term duration is looking quite positive to me, because historically, whenever it has plunged below the 200 the simple moving average, within the next 1 to 2 trading months, the counter have always reversed from the pattern. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, it has a potential, but one should wait to accumulate this counter. The accumulation zone should be above the zone of 205. Once it crosses the zone of 205 on a sustainable basis, then one can definitely accumulate this counter. In the short term period, one can expect a target of nearly 245 to 250. But if it still holds the position, then again it has a potential to test the zone of 270 from short to medium term time frame. And overall, on the lower side, approximately 165 to 175 is a very strong support zone for the same.
Next one is coming from Smita Vikram. She's writing to us from Bangalore. She had invested in United Breweries at a price of around 2,031 rupees per share, Sharmila. She wants to know whether you suggest that she should hold or look to book profits at current price. What's the take coming in on United Breweries?
Well, I do like the stock, but I personally think that within the space there are better stocks. I think we just saw numbers from Reddy, for instance, the other day. So I think that could be a good stock to look at. Another interesting stock within the same space could be Sula Vineyards. I think here again the stock has corrected significantly, and it offers a great entry point. So yes, I think it's okay to hold on to United Breweries, but these other two names are, if you don't have them, I think these other two names could be something that I would recommend.
Alright, and those are the recommendations coming in terms of the peers for United Breweries as well that you can also look at. So the next one that we in fact have, Osho, is coming in about DLF 360 shares is what an investor, Sambar Rao, is holding on to. 840 was his buy price. What do you think about this one? He wants to know if he should add for the long term at this point.
See, currently there has been a very strong correction in this counter, and we have seen a technical breakdown also from the zone of 780 and 800 kind of a zone. So I'm expecting until it breaches the zone of 800 once again, there from a positional perspective, there can be some kind of tentative move in this counter. For shorter term duration, one can definitely accumulate for a higher target of 800, 810 in short term perspective. But for a longer term duration, one should wait for it to cross and sustain above the zone of 800. Then only we can see the attainment of nearly 950 in the coming period. So for now, don't be into hustle in accumulating this counter at these levels. Wait for it to sustain above the zone of 800. Then one can definitely accumulate from longer term perspective.
Take coming in on DLF. And on that note, thank you so much, Sharmila, as well as Osho, for being part of the show. Truncated query segment, given the fact that we are just heading to the big event that is Union Budget. But as always, thank you for being part of the show. But on that note, viewers, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. When we come back, we'll have a very important voice talking on the budget. Don't go anywhere.